Everyone asks me the same question. Mchaela, how do you keep your garden thriving? You must be working so hard. Well, to me, it doesn't seem like I work hard at all in the garden. But if I'm thinking about it, there are three things I do every day in the garden. And I do them early in the morning, even before I had my coffee. The first thing I do is deadhead all the spent flowers. This is by far the most important thing that you can do in your garden to keep it blooming. To be honest, I was deadheading my flowers when I was living in an apartment, long before I even had a garden, because I was growing petunias on my balcony. And there's no better way to start your day than admiring beautiful flowers and caring for them. And all the shouting thoughts in my head stop by miracle. And just like that, I'm sinking in that priceless feeling of peace and quiet. And I, for one, have watched many interviews, especially about English gardens, and all the owners swear by it, deadheading every day. This tells the plants that they need to bloom over and over again until late fall. Take for example my calendula, Ivory Princess, super beautiful. I kept deadheading them and they've been blooming profusely since May, and now it's the end of August. But here in the back, I made a big mistake also with the calendula. So this right here is calendula sunset buff. They were super pretty, but also super floriferous, and I just couldn't keep up with the deadheading. And look what happened. Little by little, some of the blooms went to seed, and the plant said to herself, "My business is done here." And she stopped blooming altogether. However, the Ivory Princess calendula keeps blooming because I kept deadheading them daily. That's okay. I'm ripping off this calendula and I will plant instead some sunflowers. However, some flowers in my garden I don't deadhead every day. I harvest once a week because they are cut and come again. The more I cut them, the more they bloom for me. Hence the bucket. Like Cosmos, for example, Celosia, flamingo feathers, the beautiful zinnias, pincushion flower on white and on red, and Gomphrena, one of my absolute favorites. And this is why I'm practically forced, I tell you, to make myself a charming little posy for my kitchen table. And one for the bedroom. Each week. Poor me. So come to think about it, there are actually 3 things I do every day and 3 things I do every week to keep my garden thriving. And this is what they are. Also, once a week I take my snaps and I'm deadheading the perennials. And this is the case for my beautiful Goldstrom Rudbeckia. The super cute mini rose, Rosa Abietina. From May up until December, she keeps flowering and flowering and flowering with these super cute mini roses. But if I don't deadhead it, she will not bloom until late winter. And there is something I'm not harvesting and not deadheading. I'm leaving these sunflowers to dry up so that the birds can feed on their seeds in the wintertime. Hi, I'm Mchaela and I grow cut flowers in Zone 6 in Romania in our tiny cottage garden. The second thing I do every day is to hunt down and to collect slugs and snails. And of course I'm doing this each morning before my coffee, since I'm already visiting all the flowers. The slugs and the snails are the #1 enemy in my garden, and that's why I hunt them down every day. And once a week I organize a hunting expedition for them by turning upside down the pots to see if they've been breeding underneath them. And I'm also inspecting other zones where they like to spread and multiply. In the front yard of our little cottage, where we have permanent shade under our big willow tree, there aren't many flowers to deadhead. However, I come here each morning too, and I clean up the dead leaves which keep falling from the willow tree. And I'm also collecting slugs who love my coleus and my hostas. Perhaps you've got another big problem in your garden instead of mice, slugs and snails. But you can totally adapt my example and run a daily check in your garden, whatever predators you have. Here in full sun, I keep some teenage perennials. They are still in little pots and I'm checking them once a week too. And if I look closely, Sedum Carl has some eggs on it. Nothing I can't fix with the hose. Let me check out the neighbors. The garden phlox looks alright, super clean. And so does the petunia. But in some cases, I don't act at all. For example, here, my celosia is full of black aphids. And I'm not intervening. I'm leaving the garden to heal itself. The ladybugs and their babies love to feed on aphids, and they will clear the pest for me. The third thing I do each morning is to check out the irrigation system if it works correctly. Of course, at the same time as deadheading and picking up the slugs. Each of my pots has a little watering cap, and sometimes this watering cap does not work correctly. Sometimes I don't know how it happens, but the water doesn't drip in the pot, it slides to the next pot. And sometimes, no matter how much I arrange these watering caps, they don't work at all and I need to adjust them. The truth is that I have many pots because we are renting the space and I can't afford to do anything I want in the garden. And in the summertime, we hit upper 90s or more than 30 degrees Celsius for weeks on a row. So if my irrigation doesn't work properly, I could lose a potted plant in just a few days. What about the rest of the garden? Well, it's worth to be vigilant. For example, here, there was a bad connector in here, it split, and now after I have patched it in my own way, I'm still collecting 10 liters or 3 gallons of water daily. Imagine how much water I could have lost if I hadn't spotted the trouble. And speaking about watering, I'm also doing something crucial once a week. I'm hand watering all my pots, even if they're on the irrigation system. This is a trick I learned also when I was living in an apartment and I was only having houseplants. I'm making sure that all the substrate is homogeneously wet so that there are no air pockets in the substrate, in the pot or container, because air pockets are gonna kill the roots of my flowers. I keep doing these 3 simple things every day and my garden is thriving. Check it out for yourself. Click here for our tiny cottage garden tour in the month of August.